again everyone, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another speed build video in The Sims 4. Thank you very much for joining me here today. I hope you're all having an amazing day wherever you are, and today we are doing a speed build of a modern style townhouse. It's kind of a townhouse. It's a freestanding townhouse, so there is, unlike some of my other townhouse speed builds, which I will link down in the description below if you'd like to check them out. We're kind of doing a series on the channel where I do different styles of townhouses, which I thought would be kind of fun because I've never actually built townhouses. I'm going off on a rant and I know that I was about to say something else which I've completely forgotten, so I'm very sorry about that. But we're kind of doing a series on the channel where I do different styles of townhouses, and so we've done traditional, we've done colonial, we've done beachfront, and now we're doing modern. So I just thought this would be a nice addition to the series because it's something a little bit different from what I've done before. And I think it turns out really nicely. I think the architecture on the exterior is really quite interesting, and it's kind of, I'd say, I've put it down in the description on the gallery as sort of art inspired architecture. Now obviously I'm not an architect, so there's probably a proper term for the style that this house is. Now the reference image that I worked from very loosely, it was essentially just for the shape of the house more than anything else. It's classed as a modern townhouse, and so that's what we've called it here, but I'm sure that it's a little bit more than modern. It's kind of like art deco. I don't even know if that's a thing, but it reminds me, it's just very artistic, or that's how I look at it anyway. Obviously it's my build, so potentially I'm going to be doing that, but we do these really cool things with these sort of decoration objects from Eco Lifestyle on the outside, and the outside I just tried to make as interesting as possible because I don't know, I was feeling whimsical. Clearly I was feeling very whimsical when I built this, and I am quite pleased with how it came out. Although it's not my usual style of house, sometimes that's a really good thing, and sometimes it's good to experiment with different styles. And I still think you can tell that I've built this just because I tend to put, or at least I think I put my own spin on stuff. And we do change some things on the exterior here and there, which I did off camera just because I tweaked it that many times. This video would have ended up being like an hour long if I'd have kept everything in, and so I sort of trimmed it down a little bit. So as you can see from the start of the introduction, things change just ever so slightly. It's nothing major, but it's just little tweaks here and there that I think make it really good. And then by far my favourite room in this house is the kitchen, and I can't wait for you guys to see what that looks like inside, but we'll get onto that when we move on to the interior of the build. But yeah, we're just working on the exterior here, just adding little bits here and there. And then I don't know if anyone else is frustrated with this. I don't know if it's a glitch or if it's something that I'm doing, but when the roof sort of peeks into an upper floor, even though everything's closed off, everything is as it should be, and for some reason it keeps like poking through. I'm hoping it's a glitch. It's like I said, it's either a glitch or it's something that I'm doing horribly wrong. So if anyone else is experiencing this problem, please let me know, and if you fixed it, I would quite like to hear what the fix is because it's getting incredibly frustrating for me. Luckily with the builds that I've been doing recently, I've been able to sort of cheat it so that I can just put like a half wall instead of a roof. But obviously if I'm working on a more traditional house, that's not going to work, and so I don't want that to be the fix. So again, if anyone has any idea on how to fix that, I would very much appreciate it. So we're not pretty much done with the exterior of the house here. As I said, we add a lot of tweaks here and there, and we use an awful lot of items from the Eco Lifestyle pack. So if you are returning to the channel, or even if you're new to the channel, so if you're new to the channel, hello, first of all. Second of all, something you should know about me is that I am absolutely obsessed with the build buy items from Eco Lifestyle. I think it's possibly one of my favourite, if not my favourite pack for build and buy items, because I think they're amazing. They go with pretty much everything. There's at least 1 or 2 items in that pack that go with any style of build, whether it's modern or traditional, whatever it may be. There we go. So this is what I was talking about, and again I'm going off on a tangent, but this is just what I do. I'll start a sentence and then I'll start a completely different sentence, so you're just gonna have to get used to that, I'm afraid. But I sort of started to landscape the outside because I started to landscape it off camera because I don't know whether you guys find it quite tedious to watch someone landscape. Honestly, if it's something that you want to see, then I'll start including it in my builds, but it's just, I don't know, it's not the most enjoyable thing to watch, I don't think, and so I tend to cut it out of my builds. But I started to landscape it, didn't like where it was going, and then I started again, and then I started recording after I'd placed like 2 trees and a few flowers. So this is where we were. And so this is the kitchen that I was talking about, that I absolutely love, 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 and you'll see why in just a moment. So we end up going for like a brown, white and teal sort of theme in this room, which I just love. I've never done this before, and I believe these counters are from the Cool Kitchen stuff pack, which I don't think used for a really long time, especially this particular swatch, but I thought it would go quite well with this build. And then we end up using these really amazing, again, never used these before, tiles from, I think they're from Spa Day, and when you actually look at the items that we get in that pack, they're actually really nice, and I don't know why I've never used those tiles before, but I thought they were pretty fitting with the colour scheme and the theme of the house. And then we do this really nice dining area here that is in front of these sliding doors, which are again from the Eco Lifestyle pack, which again I think can work with pretty much any house. And I can imagine that if you were doing a more traditional house with maybe like a newer sort of extension on the back, I can imagine that these would work perfectly, because my dream house has these doors leading out from the kitchen and looking out onto the garden, maybe even 2 of them next to each other. Like, can you imagine how amazing that would be? Oh my gosh, that's the dream, that's the dream. And so you might be noticing here, where is the living room going? Because it doesn't look like there's a lot of room here. Now the living room is actually on the floor above, which I thought fit really well with the style and theme of this house. I thought, because it's a little bit different, it's a little bit quirky, you know, in a very modern, stylish way. And so the living room is actually upstairs. And we do this really cool sort of step down thing from the front door into this area as well, because we end up putting some platforms outside just to make the build again a little bit more visually interesting. And so I kind of had to work some platform magic inside too, so you can see just there on the left where those stairs are, which I thought were quite a nice addition actually to the house. I think it just adds a little bit of depth and a little bit of something visual to look at, which looks quite nice. And as you can see here, the kitchen is coming together quite nicely, and this is, I keep saying it, but by far my favourite room of this build. I think it looks so nice, and it's not overly cluttered, which is unusual for me. But I think with the style of the house, I didn't want to overdo it, but then, you know, I have to remember that my style is clutter. You know, it's, I don't know, I think it just depends on you as a person. But I think the clutter that I use is just the right amount, and then for some other people they might be thinking, well, it's still too much. So I think it's just down to personal preference, but I don't think I overdo it, which is a good thing. And the only bathroom in this house, as you can see here, is actually downstairs as you come in. So, you know, again, the house has a lot of character. It's very quirky and stylish, and I am really happy with it. Even the floor plan, I'm actually quite happy with. I think it's really nice, because I think I've talked about this on the channel before, but my living room in my house in real life is actually on the first floor as well, and I suppose that's where my inspiration came for this build. So I think that's kind of nice. But I've also got a kitchen on my first floor of my house as well, so it's slightly different. You know, my house looks nothing like this, by the way. If you're wondering, do you really live in a house that looks like this? No, I absolutely do not. It looks nothing like this. But yeah, this is the office space I was talking about, just under the stairs here, which I think is quite a nice addition to the house. You know, I think it looks quite good. And then we end up finishing off the bathroom here. I don't do anything too spectacular here, just because it is small and it is oddly shaped, just because of the wall on an angle there, but that just makes the space downstairs a bit more open. So if I'd have put just a regular wall there that closed off on a 90-degree angle, I don't think it would have looked as nice. So that's why we did this here. And then for some reason, the rugs and stuff were glitching when I was placing them here. I've no idea why, and then I ended up placing this one from Snowy Escape and it was absolutely fine. So I don't know whether it was just the rug that I was using from Nifty Knitting, but it was glitching out really, really badly. And so this area here, I had absolutely no idea what I wanted to put here initially. Initially, I wanted to keep it really plain, and then I realised that this bookcase thing from Eco Lifestyle fits absolutely amazingly, so I couldn't not use that. I mean, come on, it's kind of made for this house. And then we move on to the upstairs and we work on, again, some platform sort of designs, because there is a balcony out back there with, it doesn't have anything on it, but you know, it's still a functioning balcony. If your Sims want to go out there for some fresh air, I think that might look quite nice. And then we use some more platforms here to create this open arch fireplace, which I thought was quite a nice addition to the house as well. Again, something a little bit different, something a bit quirky that just adds to the character and design of the build. And then I really wanted to use these sofas from the My First Pet Stuff pack, and then I completely decided against it because I wanted the sofas to be in front of the fire. And so we used some sofas from, I'll pause to let you guess which pack we use them from. That is right, they're from the Eco Lifestyle pack. So if you have Eco Lifestyle, then you know that's brilliant news. You know, you're not going to have any problem downloading this house. And if you don't have Eco Lifestyle, I'm really sorry. You know, I kind of went to town on the Eco Lifestyle items, and I used a lot of Spa Day items and also items from the Snowy Escape pack, but I always use items from the Snowy Escape pack in my builds now, especially the rug, because that rug that came with that pack, my gosh, I love it so much. It's like a staple of all my builds now. I don't think there's a build that I've done that doesn't use that rug. It's just so nice. I absolutely love it. And obviously we put candles in all the rooms, because if you have downloaded a few of my houses now, which I am hoping you have, so if you have, thank you so much for your support, and if you haven't, please consider downloading some of my houses. I promise you won't regret it that much. You know, they're okay, they're half decent, so I'm hoping you'll have a lot of fun playing in them. But you will notice that I use a lot of candles in my builds, and that is because I absolutely love candles in real life. So I imagine that when I'm putting them in my Sims houses, I can imagine the smell of the house as you walk in, and it's just really inviting and really pretty and really nice, and I just really love that idea, and so that's kind of why I do it. But yeah, my house in real life is filled with candles and wax melts and reed diffusers. I'm just all about a nice smelling home. I don't think there's anything better than lighting a wax melt or a candle and just letting it fill the room up, and you just smell it, and it's amazing. I just love it so much, and so that's why I put a lot of candles in my houses. And then I had absolutely no idea what I wanted to put on these stairs here, because I'm not used to using platforms, but I'm really trying to use them more in my builds recently, because that is such an amazing tool that the Sims team have decided to give us, and it seems silly that I'm not really using it all that much, and so I am just trying to utilize it as best I can. And then I end up changing the main rug in the living room to this one from Tiny Living. So as you can see, there's also a lot of items from the Tiny Living stuff pack in this house. Again, I think they work really well with the items from the Eco Lifestyle pack, and they kind of just fit the vibe and the style of the house, so I thought it was kind of perfect. And then we put some really nice curtains up here. I'm sure we do. Yes, I'm sure they're from City Living, but I could be wrong. You know, it's been like a few hours since I finished this house, and I have the memory of a goldfish, so that may well not be the case, but I'm sure we will find out very shortly. Oh yeah, they're the same curtains that I use there that are on the right hand side, so they're definitely from City Living, and I think they're so nice. I think they're such a staple, again, such a staple item, and I think they look so nice in pretty much any sort of environment. I think they're really, really versatile. And then we move on to the only bedroom in the house, and we're going with a blue theme here, but I don't really know why. I think it's because I decided to use that teal colour in the kitchen, and I wanted to just keep the colour scheme going throughout the house. So I think that's okay. You know, I think it ends up looking really cute. And then The bedroom, this is not one of my worst bedrooms. This is actually pretty good for me. Again, if you have seen any of my other speed builds, you may have seen and noticed, because I talk about it all the time, that my bedrooms are not my best aspect of my builds. But I am trying my hardest to work on that, because, you know, you spend a lot of time in your bedroom and it has to be a relaxing space, and I want your Sims to be relaxed in their bedrooms in my houses, so why would I not want them to be nice? I don't know. And then I realised as I was doing this room that it was all looking very wooden and it just wasn't looking very good, and so I ended up changing some paint on the walls and stuff like that. But I think it ends up looking quite nice. And we even put a fireplace in this room, because when I got in I actually realised it's quite a decent size, although it's an odd shape. You know, I think we utilised the space as best we could, but it's a very strange shape. But yes, I think this is a good place to leave you guys here, but thank you very much for watching. And if you would like to download this house, it's available to download from the gallery under my origin ID, which is RachelPedd. Tray files are linked down in the description below if you would like to check them out. They're available to download from SimFileShare. As always, screenshots are at the end of the build if you would like to see what the house looks like in game. But thank you so much again for joining me here today, and I will see you shortly. Take care. Bye!